Stop right there. Before you plant one more thing this spring, you need to hear this. 92% of new gardeners will kill at least half their plants in the first season. And it's not because they don't care. It's because the advice you're getting from big box garden centers and fertilizer companies is designed to keep you buying, not to keep your plants thriving. They profit every time you replace dead flowers, buy more soil amendments you don't need, and restart your garden from scratch next year. I'm about to expose 10 mistakes that are sabotaging your garden before it even has a chance. And mistake number 3 is literally baking your plants alive while you think you're helping them. Stay locked in, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to avoid the failures that cost most new gardeners hundreds of dollars and countless hours of frustration every single spring. Mistake number 10. You're planting too early because you're excited. And I get it. The first warm day in March hits. You see those seed packets at the store, and you think it's go time. Soil temperature matters 10 times more than air temperature. And that's the secret fertilizer companies won't mention, because they want you to buy seeds twice when your first batch dies. When you plant into cold soil, seeds either rot or sit stunted, becoming magnets for disease and pests. University extension programs confirm that tomatoes planted in 50-degree soil will be outperformed by tomatoes planted 3 weeks later in 65-degree soil. The fix is simple. Get a $12 soil thermometer and actually check before you plant. Most vegetables want soil at least 60 degrees. Warm season crops like tomatoes need 65 to 70, and cool season crops like lettuce can handle 45. When you wait for proper soil temperature, your seeds germinate in days instead of weeks. Your transplants explode with growth, and you'll harvest earlier than your neighbor who planted a month before you. Mistake number 9. You're buying whatever plants look prettiest at the garden center, completely ignoring whether they'll actually survive in your yard. Garden centers stock displays with flowers that look incredible under perfect greenhouse conditions, knowing half are wrong for your climate, sun exposure, or soil. Master gardeners confirm that shade plants sold to people with full sun yards account for millions in wasted money. The hidden truth is, plants have specific requirements, and beautiful blooms mean nothing if the plant is miserable in your conditions. A hydrangea that needs acidic soil and afternoon shade will die in your alkaline clay with 8 hours of sun. The fix is to learn your yard first, then shop second. Know your hardiness zone, measure sun exposure in each bed, and get a basic soil test. When you match plants to your conditions instead of fighting nature, you'll have thriving gardens that improve yearly instead of replacing the same dead plants every spring. Mistake number 8. You're watering on a schedule instead of based on what plants actually need. Garden centers love this because it creates weak, disease-prone plants you'll replace next season. When you water every day for 10 minutes, you're training shallow roots, creating perfect conditions for fungal diseases, and wasting water while stressing your plants. Soil studies show frequent shallow watering produces roots in just the top 2 inches, making plants vulnerable to heat and drought. Plants need deep, infrequent watering that encourages roots to grow down where moisture is stable. The fix is to water deeply until the top 6 to 8 inches are moist, then wait until the top inch dries before watering again. For most plants, that's 2 or 3 times weekly at most. When you water correctly, you'll develop drought-tolerant plants with massive root systems, almost zero fungal issues, and you'll use half the water while getting healthier. Plants. Mistake number 7. You're using fresh mulch directly against plant stems and tree trunks, creating mulch volcanoes that kill from the bottom up. This mistake is everywhere because landscape companies do it wrong, garden centers display it wrong, and it looks tidy. When mulch touches stems or bark, it holds moisture against tissue meant to stay dry, creating perfect conditions for rot and disease. Turf scientists confirm mulch volcanoes kill more suburban trees than any other single factor. Bark and stems need air circulation, and mulch must stay several inches away from woody tissue. The fix is to pull mulch back from all stems and trunks, creating donuts, not volcanoes. Leave 2 to 3 inches of space around perennials and shrubs, 6 inches around tree trunks. Apply mulch 2 to 3 inches deep elsewhere, never deeper. When you fix this, you'll eliminate stem rot, reduce pest problems by 70%, and your plants will use mulch for moisture retention and weed. suppression, not slow death. Mistake number 6. You're buying premium potting soil and expensive amendments without understanding most of it is marketing hype emptying your wallet. Soil companies have convinced homeowners you need 12 products to grow anything. The hidden truth is healthy soil needs just a few key components you can create yourself for a fraction of the cost. Soil science shows the best garden soil is 45% minerals, 25% air, 25% water, and 5% organic matter. The fix is to stop buying overpriced bags and start building your own soil. Get a $20 soil test to see what you actually need, then add compost for organic matter and amend based on results. For containers, mix 1/3 peat moss or coir, 1/3 perlite, and 1/3 compost. You'll save 60% compared to bagged mix, and plants will grow better because you're providing actual structure and drainage instead of compressed peat that turns into concrete. Mistake number 5. You're fertilizing way too much because bag instructions are written by companies that profit when you over-apply. This is the biggest scam in the garden industry, destroying your soil while you think you're feeding plants. Excess fertilizer burns roots, kills beneficial soil organisms, leaches into groundwater, and creates weak tissue that's candy for pests. University turf programs found lawns receiving half the recommended fertilizer often outperform fully fertilized lawns because they develop stronger roots and fewer diseases. Most soil already has nutrients. You just need to make them available through organic matter and soil biology, not synthetic nitrogen. The fix is to cut fertilizer by at least half, switch to slow-release organic options, and focus on adding compost. Lawns need about 3 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet yearly, total. Gardens need a 2-inch compost layer annually. When you stop over-fertilizing, plants develop stronger stems, fewer pest problems, and you save a fortune. If this is already changing how you see your garden, hit like so YouTube shares this with more homeowners who need it. Mistake number 4. You're ignoring soil drainage and planting in soil that stays wet, basically creating a swamp, then wondering why plants drown. Garden centers never mention this because they'll sell you water-loving plants for dry soil and drought-tolerant plants for wet areas, then sell replacements when everything dies. Most plants, especially vegetables and perennials, need well-drained soil where water soaks in and drains within hours, not puddles for days. Soil studies confirm poor drainage kills more plants than drought, disease, and pests combined because roots suffocate in waterlogged soil. You can test drainage yourself in 10 minutes. Dig a 1-foot hole, fill with water, let it drain, then fill again and time it. If water sits more than 4 hours, you have a problem. For minor issues, add 3 to 4 inches of compost worked into the top 8 inches. For serious problems, build raised beds 6 to 12 inches high. When you fix drainage, you'll eliminate 80% of plant deaths and finally understand why your neighbor's identical plants thrive while yours struggle. Mistake number 3. You're planting in full afternoon sun without protection, literally baking transplants alive during their most vulnerable weeks. This kills 90% of new gardens in America, and garden centers encourage it by selling sun-loving plants without mentioning transplants need hardening off. A tomato that loves full sun as a mature plant will cook to death as a transplant stuck straight from indoors into 8 hours of direct sun. Leaves can't handle UV intensity, roots can't pull water fast enough, and cellular damage happens in hours. Master gardeners agree transplant shock from sun exposure sets plants back weeks or kills them. All transplants need gradual sun exposure and temporary shade for 7 to 10 days. The fix is simple and costs nothing. Use shade cloth, old bed sheets, or cardboard boxes for afternoon shade. Start with 50% shade for 3 days, then remove protection for a few hours daily, increasing exposure over a week. Water deeply before transplanting and keep soil moist but not soaked for 2 weeks. When you protect transplants properly, you'll see explosive growth instead of stunted yellow plants. 95% success rates. And you'll actually enjoy gardening. Mistake number 2. You're buying disease-prone varieties because they're cheap or pretty, ignoring disease resistance, then spending all summer spraying fungicides while plants suffer. Garden centers stock what sells, not what performs, making more money when you buy treatments all season. Modern breeding created varieties resistant to powdery mildew, blight, and mosaic virus. But they cost $1 or $2 more, so shoppers grab cheaper options. Without reading labels, university research proves disease-resistant varieties reduce fungicide use by 90% and produce 2 to 3 times more harvest. One disease-resistant tomato for $5 will outproduce 3 cheap plants for $3 each, and you won't spend $40 on sprays. The fix is to check plant tags and seed packets for disease resistance codes. For tomatoes, look for VFNT indicating resistance to verticillium wilt, fusarium wilt, nematodes, and tobacco mosaic virus. When you plant resistant varieties, you'll cut gardening work in half and harvest will explode. You're clearly someone who cares about doing this right, and most people make these mistakes for years without figuring out why gardens fail. Mistake number 1. You're not testing your soil before anything else, meaning you're gardening blind, fixing problems that don't exist while ignoring ones that do. Fertilizer companies love this because you'll spend years buying products based on symptoms while never addressing actual deficiencies. Your soil might be severely deficient in phosphorus but have excessive nitrogen, or pH might be completely wrong, and you'll never know without testing. Soil science confirms pH alone affects nutrient availability so dramatically that all nutrients can be present, but plants can't access them if pH is wrong. A $20 soil test will save hundreds in wasted amendments and give you a roadmap for improvement. The fix is to get proper testing from your local cooperative extension office, not cheap home kits. Extension tests measure pH, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and micronutrients, plus give specific recommendations for what you want to grow. Test every 3 years or when starting new beds. When you know what's in your soil, you'll stop guessing, stop wasting money, and start seeing growth that makes neighbors ask your secret. And there you have it. 10 mistakes destroying gardens across America, and exactly how to. Fix everyone. Fix even half of these and your garden will look better than it has in years. Imagine walking outside to rows of healthy vegetables producing more than you can eat, flowers blooming so thick you can barely see foliage, and soil so rich that everything you plant just takes off. That's not luck. That's what happens when you stop following bad advice and start working with your plants instead of against them. Hit like, subscribe, and comment which mistake you've been making, because I read every one and answer questions. And if you want to take your garden to the next level, check out my video on the 5 soil amendments that actually work, where I break down exactly what to add and when. Your garden transformation starts right now.